Don't forget all that.
Good to go, Scott?
Yep, we should be.
All right, so is,
I'm gonna.
anyone on?
Yep, it looks like we have some people. It looks like they're already in. We have a guest and Bob Warden.
Okay. Well, we'll call this meeting to order then. Roll call, Bloom.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Stewart here. Thomas Card, is excused, but he was gonna try to Zoom and maybe has not been able to do that. And Wyland.
Here.
Okay. Public comments on agenda items. Carrie, you have something for us?
I just wanted to say I handed my letter into you, so it's official.
Okay,
You know, 23 years of service on this department. I've been to many calls, many scenes, and never had what happened on Saturday out in Dexterville that I'm dealing with when one of my best friend's daughter was killed. So, and, I'm glad I never had to see this because this is killing my good family. So.
I'm sorry to hear that, Carrie.
I'm reluctant to do this, to get off, but, cause I can help the community yet, but this isn't what they want, so I'm getting off. Thank you.
Thank you. And, on behalf of all of us here, thanks for your service. Appreciate it. And we recognize that. Correspondence is, Gary did give me a notification for the file regarding his resignation from the fire department effective today, April 15th at 5 p.m. And, he indicates it was an honor to serve alongside, men and women during his 23 years of service. So thanks again, Carrie, for that. Anyone else have any other correspondence? Brian?
I believe it was retirement, not resignation.
It is retirement.
Yeah, okay. Share comments, just for everyone's information regarding the fire chief. That those ads in those 3 publications have been out for almost 3 weeks now. I think we have another week because it was a 30-day cycle for the ads. Just to let everyone know, we've received 2 fire chief applications thus far. I think what maybe we should discuss is at the time of the end of the application period, if we should move forward with the applications that we have at the time, or if we should extend the application period. Not sure how we gauge that. One of the technical issues that we struggle with here in the village is the ability to email documents that are like more than 10 pages long. It's an issue. The email servers do not allow us to do that. And these applications with all the certifications and the resumes are quite lengthy. As you can imagine for a chief application. So, I guess I'm open to suggestions as to, what the rest of the commission feels. Do you guys want me to try to get you copies of the applications that have been submitted thus far and then review those and then decide whether we should extend the deadline or try to, work with the applications we have as of now? Or what are your thoughts?
I think it would make sense to look at the applications and, you know, and determine ideally that there's 2 people who are qualified. You know, if we determine that they're not qualified, that may impact this one or both of them. Obviously, if it's both, then we have to.
From
Yeah.
just from briefly looking at the documents, they appear to be qualified with regard to our minimum educational requirements. Now, of course, there's other things that come out in interviews and different things like that, but, I think they're both, qualified on paper. But I'd be happy to get those distributed. What I would probably do is make copies and then make some packet deliveries to your homes, because the email system just won't handle it.
I appreciate if you would do that.
Okay,
Yeah, and I
Alright.
agree with that. I think the only thing that would, in my opinion, cause us to extend it is if they are not qualified to meet the minimum requirements.
sure.
Obviously, like you said, there's plenty of things that can come out of the woodwork, but at this point, I think if we have two candidates, that's great, and let's make sure that they're qualified on paper for the minimum requirements, and then move forward. I'm gonna drag this out any longer than we have to.
Okay, we can do that, and I guess at the end of the application period, we will then ask Chief Drew to begin his phase one, at least his phase one, background investigation.
That's
Is
good.
that okay with you,
Mhm.
Scott?
Yep.
Okay,
Or we have our set questions that we ask candidates who are not normally applying for this position. I'm wondering if, seems like there should be some additional,
agreed, and as our practice has been in the past with this level job title, the full commission gets involved with the interview.
good.
And we have completely separate and more open-ended questions. Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
With regard to an update on the entry-level fire guys, we have two that we're gonna hear about from Corey tonight in closed session and Brian, as to how those interviews went. And then we have an additional applicant that came in that Scott may have a phase one investigative report for us in closed session. So we'll review, now that's that application I sent you guys by email last week. So we'll review that application and resume in closed session. We'll get Scott's phase one and we'll decide on that applicant, continue or not. I think that gets us up to speed. So we got 3 in the hopper for the entry level and then 2 so far for chief. So that's that update. If there's no questions in that area,
Now, I did not make record in the minutes, the number of applicants for the chief position, since they would be competing.
yeah, and the other
Public
thing is, these level applicants at this time would request confidentiality. I know when we get to a phase where by law, when we get finalists, so we get the finalist phase, then we have to release
Okay.
the names of the folks, but these applicants at this stage are generally confidential, so we'll keep that, to ourselves in closed session. If there's not any other questions, I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the March 25th, 2024 meeting.
So
Aye.
moved.
I second.
Moved by Wyland, second by Bloom. Any discussion of those minutes? All in favor, say aye. Fire chief report, what you got, Brian? Anything?
I think we're up to 6 calls for the month of April. Vehicle accident today at Port and Seneca due to the detour. For the highway project, so day 1, we're batting 1,000. Couple mutual aid calls to the city of Rapids. And a couple of CO alarm over the weekend, so
Okay,
nothing extraordinary.
Okay.
I do have a quick question.
Gary, you want us to, hang on a second, I have to phrase this correctly. Is there any objection from commissioners to go off table and allow Carrie Smith to make a
Question.
point or point of order?
That's what it is.
Point of order? Okay.
You know, Brian's out on a limb here, being the only chief. What are we doing to move people up? I mean, there's 9 members left and there's only 3 officers right now, 2 captains and 1 assistant chief.
Yeah.
Are
2
we,
lieutenants,
but
2 lieutenants.
2 lieutenants, yep. No
Yeah.
captains and 1 assistant chief.
Yep.
Where are you on that, moving in people? Are you looking at the applicant, are you looking at the qualifications of all the members now? Because there's only 9 members. And there's actually 9 officer positions counting the chief.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do, Carrie, is catch our breath.
Okay.
And do the best we can and as quickly and as efficiently as we can.
I just know Brian's gonna need some help with some.
Yeah, and it would really be, in Brian's or, if we do hire a chief soon, it would be in their position to recommend
Yep.
any promotions anyway.
That's what I was wondering, if you were waiting to do the new chief, getting a new chief in before you moved anybody up to.
Yeah, we haven't discussed it.
Okay.
But,
That was ultimately my question.
of course, yeah, but we're, trying to be as efficient as possible with the applicants that are coming in now, that's for sure.
Thank you.
One, kind of bright spot, and I won't just divulge any names, but one of the latest applicants happens to have, the certifications and the training that would not, mandate us to appoint as an associate, but rather come in potentially, as a, firefighter status as opposed to an associate. I know we have 2 associates now, and I believe those statuses end in September, if I remember right, Brian.
At the latest, yeah.
For bylaws, I thought it was the first year was an associate.
Yeah,
It can be less than that at the chief's discretion.
right. And, that's your call.
Yep.
But tell us when you think they're ready, But it was kind of interesting that this new applicant, it's an experienced fireman, so interesting. Okay, nothing else, Brian?
I think so.
Okay. Chief Drew?
Just for the record, I did, message the, people online just to see if they had public comment. I haven't received any word back, but I guess if they do, they can, respond back.
Thank you.
Otherwise, for me, still working on the legacy grant. I just had a missed call from Rob Sigler from, Nick was Port Edward State Bank was on that committee, so we are working diligently on that to try to get that, so we can get our 4th officer. But other than that, it's been, I put the uniform back on today. I'd love to say it feels great, but
Back to full duty.
Yep.
Well,
so don't tell my doctor.
yeah, geez.
I go officially on the 25th, but,
So this grant that, has to do with, is it a 50%? I forgot, 50%?
it's, it is not, but they need buy-in from the village. And so we've got that from the school and from the village. It would be like a declining grant, so they give more initially, and then as we, did like a 5-year, toward the end of that, the village would be on the hook for it all.
Okay,
So, but
And that-
initially.
and that part is still pending in front of the board too, right?
It is,
Okay.
so basically right now I am working on the financials part of the grant. And that's where I need to kind of sit with Rob, Diane, Dwayne. Because I'm just kind of putting in imaginary terms at this point of what the village may be on the hook for. But I want to put something in before I approach them and say, oh, what do you think? Is it gonna be 50,000 or 150,000? So.
So where are you with legacy? Are you actually, have
what I
you
was-
presented it? to
No,
them
we
yet?
have
You
not.
not, okay,
No,
so
we
this
have
would
not.
be.
So
because
this would
the-
be fiscal year
20.
25. Well, it would be awarded in June. I believe, June to June.
Next year.
So they're doing interviews
Now.
this week for
Yep.
25. They
Mhm.
funded in July to August for their
Yep.
25 grants.
Correct.
So my concern is that you're a year later than you think you are.
Well, and so when we met with them initially, we did like a pre-meeting.
Yep.
They said that based on the circumstances, they would consider
Perfect.
an emergency type.
Sure, yeah, but great, as long as you had that
So-
talk. I
yeah,
just wanted,
okay,
because they
yeah.
meet, they're literally doing interviews
Correct.
this week.
And I'm sure
for
that's
funding
why,
for
I'm
next
sure that's
year.
what Rob called about.
Gotcha, okay,
so-
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's a work in progress.
okay,
We'll see. I don't know if any of that'll change with the school funding. You know, I've kind of dropped some hints. Since the referendum went through, that maybe that could be uploaded a little bit, but we'll see.
yeah, see, I was under the impression that the school approval was already from last fall.
Correct.
See, school year,
Yep.
okay.
They,
all right.
yeah, they approved 65,000
Yeah.
already last fall.
Yeah.
And then in our budget for this year, the village approved 35,000.
Okay,
So we're close. But we just need that extra kick, equipment, and we'd need an office at the school. So there's a bunch of stuff that would be attached with, the wages and everything else.
and you need
So-
final board approval too.
Correct.
Which is not.
Yep.
On automatic,
Correct.
okay.
Yep.
All right,
So work in progress.
anything else, chief?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. If there isn't anything else, I'd ask for, what we're going to do is go into closed session. You know what, Del, do you wanna talk or
No,
speak or
No,
anything?
I just.
You missed a public comment.
No,
okay.
I just hear and listen.
Okay. On our agenda, we plan on going into closed session and receive, specific and potential employee reports from Corey, with regard to interviews for the fire department that have taken place. We also have, a review of phase two background, from two other candidates. However, I don't think those are ready yet, correct, Scott?
Correct.
Okay, and then, we're gonna review a new application resume of a fire department candidate. And finally, a phase one criminal background investigation on a latest fire department applicant. So that's what we'll be talking about in closed session. You guys can hang out here if you want. We're gonna go in the back room. And we'll come out and any action taken from closed session will be done in open session when we go back. I gotta read the exact statute. So I'm looking for a motion for the commission to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 1985 1C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee which the commission has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. And then in the closed session, we will. And I went over what our actions will be in the closed session. So is there a motion to that effect?
I make that motion.
Motion by Bloom, second.
Second.
Second by Wyland. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, Corey, you have a number of motions for us based on our discussions in the closed session?
Yeah, so the first motion is that the new applicant, new application we received, that individual continue with interview. We begin the start phase 2. And, Leo, the chief, and I will coordinate our schedules to get the interview going.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye.
Okay, the second. Jessica Lease was interviewed and has been recommended, for promotion, to be added on to, the eligibility to hire, conditional, with the condition being part 2, of the background
And medical.
and medical.
Okay, motion to hire Jessica Lease as an entry-level firefighter I'm sorry, associate firefighter. Conditional upon successful phase 2 background completed by Chief Drew and successful medical examination as required for all employees. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second by Bloom. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. So, Chief Lubigo will get a hold of Ms. Lease and, advise her of the decision and where we go from here, and we will get you that document, Brian, with regard to, eligibility to hire list.
Third motion. Similarly is to, recommend, is to hire Christopher Diggles as, an associate firefighter, upon the same conditions, the medical exam and the, phase 2 of the background investigation.
And is there a second to that similar motion?
Second.
Second by Wyland, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. So Brian, like we said, you work on, notification and I'll work on the, medical, side of it. And, maybe we can be efficient and fast enough to get them in that training that you suggested, begins in May. What is that, Brian? Is that Fire One?
Entry level and fire 1, yeah.
Okay. And tell me, just for my edification, does Fire One, entry level Fire One include wildland fire now too, right? In that class?
No, that's a separate DNR.
Oh, it's separate.
Sponsor. The training is, conducted by the DNR staff.
Okay, so that's on your list too,
Yeah,
for these
that-
folks?
that next opportunity will be this coming winter for that class.
Oh, yeah, okay. Corey, what else?
I think that's it, unless I'm missing something. Wait, we have a fourth action, don't we?
No, because, Chief Drew needs to work on those other background, phase 2 background checks.
So then that's it.
All right. Any commissioner comments?
The only one thing that'll affect the police department. The standards board changed part-timers. It used to be that they were certified for 3 years, just like a full-timer. They just went and changed the rules, so if you got any communication with your legislator or something, tell them. It didn't go through legislation. It's just something they decided as a board to do, and that's gonna hinder a lot of the smaller departments, because if a guy takes any leave at all, one day of being unemployed, he's not gonna be certified anymore, and that means going through the whole ball of wax, you know, it doesn't make sense, and why they did that, I don't know, but I just found out about it through our senator. That
Whereas before it was a 3-year
it was
window.
a 3-year window
Yeah.
for part-timers as well as full-timers. It's still a 3-year certification for full-timers. But part-timers, 1 day, they're decertified, which doesn't make sense whatsoever, because part-timer or full-timer, they go through a lot to get that certification. So, you know, if you got some of our representative or senators phone number, give them a call on that one, because they should step in on this, and I think it came to light because a part-timer was hired by someone. They did not know about the rule, the part-timer did not know about the rule, but he was not, the certification wasn't accepted. They said the board decided last time they met that that doesn't count anymore. And so it's gonna affect the small departments a lot, especially with the shortage we have on police departments and fire departments right now. So just for your information,
Do I need to record any of that?
no, it's just a commissioner's
Comment.
comments on worried about part-time certification, I would say, would sum it up.
Okay.
Police business, we need to start the ball in motion on replacements for Chief Drew. We
Yeah,
discussed it in the February meeting, and I think now that you're back, the three of us and Chief Drew probably need to get something scheduled to start that process moving forward.
it sounds good. Maybe we could, just to start your thoughts. I think the first thing that, Andrea may want to work on is the wording of an ad and all the things that are included in your responsibilities that we may want to advertise for.
For sure.
And I'd
Yeah.
absolutely like your input on that. I mean, you're gonna be
Yeah.
able to describe it better than anyone. I'll wordsmith it and make it look pretty, but
I think
give me some
our
bones.
policies are pretty well set on what interviews and everything do. The only thing I would say that we need to look at, and again, nothing for a voting or something, is the military's gone away from the push-ups or the sit-ups. It's plank now. It's timing on the plank. The Marine Corps, the Navy and the Army, all have gone away from the sit-ups, and I think, I don't know, something to think about
Chiefs.
We did.
We exempted chiefs
from
from
that,
physical.
from the physical.
And
yeah.
written action.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking forward and
Oh, yeah, entry level.
higher officers.
Yeah. One thing, Scott, it would help us in that task too. Could you email all of us your current research with regard to the area chief's salaries?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep, I'll get it out.
That would be helpful.
And I have lost contact with the testing group. I don't know
Yeah, I still have that.
if you still have all of that. I've lost contact because of people I contacted right there and stuff.
Yep.
sure. Okay,
We need to do that.
sounds good. Any comments from the audience before we end the meeting? I really want to hear from Dell, but
No, thank
you're
you.
not gonna.
I'm
Okay.
happy to thank you.
All right. That being the case, you guys want to schedule a next meeting date, or do you want to do something similar with regard to, as we learn, like your interview, dates set up, Corey, and then go from there?
That makes
Potentially
sense to
sooner
me.
than the next first Monday?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That makes sense to me.
I think the first one is gonna be here before we.
Mhm.
Well, it will, but for now, can we say to be determined as far as the next, PFC meeting?
Sounds good.
Based on, the work that gets done between now and then. That being the case, I will adjourn this meeting at 6:47 PM. Yeah, nobody for the second half,
No,
okay.